Good morning, students. Students, we have discussed chapter number 1. We have revised chapter number 1 in the previous revision class. Today I am taking chapter number 2 of business studies. Here we will discuss the principles of management. Students, these principles of management are given by two great economists. These are Fayol and Taylor. So first we will discuss about Fayol's principle of management. Mr. Fayol has given the 14 principles of management which are very near to the working style of the people, and Mr. Taylor, he has an experience working in the factories, machinery. So the principles which are given by Mr. Taylor, that is related to the working environment. Okay, so let's take the principle of Fayol's first. The first principle of management is division of work. Mr. Fayol says that division of work should be there. Division of work means dividing the work, and it is quite natural. You must be knowing that in our daily life we face these kind of problem. If one is allotted the whole work, one person has to do everything, so there won't be quality in that work. The person, definitely the person will get tired, won't be able to give the quality, right? And his focus won't be on the core activity. He has to pay his attention to the whole work. Okay, so he's telling, if you want better performance, you want something good, specialized things you want, so we should divide the work. We should divide the work between various people, and we know that the different people have different qualities. Someone is expert in the sales, someone is very good in the finance, and somebody has very good purchasing skills. So we should divide the work according to the quality of the person. Well, here I have taken an example regarding employees. The same goes for the management also. So we have the different departments in the management, and in the factories also you find different kind of work. So very carefully we should divide the work between the people according to their qualities and their capabilities. The second principle tells authority and responsibility. Students, once you have divided the work, so you have assigned the work, assigned the duty that you have to do this work. But remember, you have to provide, you have to give certain rights also, certain authorities also, rights or authorities you have to give, and certain responsibilities or duties you have to give. These things go side by side with your work, and it should be it should be in the proper ratio. The work which has assigned by the management, which you have assigned to your subordinates, so authority and responsibility should also be in the same ratio. If you give less authority to that person, you have assigned the work and you have given the authority also, but if that authority is comparatively less, so the person won't have that much freedom to do work, so he won't be able to perform the work in a proper way. And by chance, if you provide more authority, so misutilization of authority can be done. So remember, whenever you divide the work, you assign the work to the different people, you must give the authority, and of course the person will be responsible also for doing that particular job. That must be assigned in the proper ratio. Next we are talking about the discipline. Discipline is the main it's a key of success of any organization. If discipline is missing in any of the organization, so the organization won't be able to achieve the goal. So here, this is the third principle of the Fayol's principle of the management. There should be discipline in the whole organization, whatever the level is there, either that is the management, top level, middle level, lower level, or that is at the operational level, the people who are working around. So everybody should be in the discipline. The work must be done in the disciplined environment. Chances of the success increases. Next we have unity of command. Unity of command, as its name is suggesting, unity of command. Command should be from one side. We have so many people on the top authority. Certain managers are there, CEO is there, chairman is there, and after that we have departmental managers from the middle level. So many people are there on our head, and all these people, they are just giving the command, right? I'm a single person, I'm getting command from 5 people on my head. So it will be difficult for me to follow their commands. Whose command I must follow? Okay, I don't know what to do. Somebody has to do this, somebody has to do that. So there should be unity of command. If these authorities, they have right to give the command to their subordinates, so they must discuss first with each other, right? They should reach at any conclusion and then the command must be given. And another thing, it should be very clear to me from whom I am going to get the command, right? Who is going to give the command to me? That thing should be clear to me, okay? Next we are talking about the unity of direction. Well, here we were talking about the command and unity of direction. When you are assigned the job, you have started doing your job, then you need some direction. Sometime you feel yourself uncomfortable, or you need certain help, you need to ask something, some queries are there, all right. So that can be from your side also, and of course the management also, they have to direct you. So in the same way as we have discussed in the unity of command, there should be unity of the direction. From whom I am going to get the direction? I should be very clear, and the person who is going to give the direction, that person should also be very clear to whom he is going to direct and from whom I will be getting the direction. These things should be very clear, so we can save the time and energy of the persons. So students, we are talking about Fayol's principle of management. I hope it's clear. Now next one is subordination of individual interest to the general interest. Well, this happens everywhere. Wherever the interest of the organization, right, and another side interest of the subordinates or the people, of the employees. So the people, what do? They supersede their interest, they keep their interest on the priority over the organization's interest, but this is wrong. It should not be there. So personal interest should be secondary, and we should give the priority and preferences to the organizational interest, okay. So we have to think about the organization first, and later on our own interest come. So that one must keep in the mind while doing any kind of work in the organization. Next we are talking about the centralization and decentralization. Students, as the name is suggesting, centralization means something in the center, and decentralization means at the different places. So what things I have to keep in the center and what things I have to decentralize. Here it's talking about the powers, okay, which powers you have to keep with you. Certain core activities are there. You must have listened in the classroom, I have explained it many times. Certain core activities are there, means important activities are there, and rest of the activities which are not that much important, means routine kind of work, and some other people, they can also perform. So very minutely they must decide this, centralization means which powers one must keep, means management must keep these powers with them, means they will be looking after these things directly, they will be deciding the thing. These things are directly in the hand of the management, or you can say the top level management or the middle level management. This everyone takes decision at their level, which things they have to keep centralized, means what things they have to keep in their hand, all right. And certain, as we have already discussed, division of the work. Of course, everything can't be done by the top level management. Of course, they have to divide this work, and with the work they have to provide the authority and responsibility, and this creates the decentralization because of this division of work, authority and responsibility. When you divide some work, you are providing authority and responsibility to rest of the people for certain other work. So this is called decentralization, means center where you are there, and decentralization, rest of the employees. So here you have divided the work between other people with certain authorities and responsibilities, all right. Students, next we are talking about principle of scalar chain. This you have to understand. This is your top level management, right, and we have certain other people in the organization, Mr. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right. So scalar chain tells that one must communicate in the proper, the communication should be from the proper channel. It tells that top level management, this is top level management. Who is in the touch of the top level management? Middle level management is in the touch of this. Okay, this is middle level management. If top level management has to communicate something to the lower level management, so how do they communicate that? Top level doesn't talk to the middle level directly. No, they don't do like this. Top level management communicate to the middle level management, and then middle level management communicate to the lower level management, right? So the communication go through a proper channel, and the same way, like this way, if they want to convey something, some order, direction, decisions, anything, so they convey to the next one, and the next one conveys to the lower one. So this is called scalar chain. Fine, students. And in the same way, suppose this lower level management has something to convey to the top level management, so they don't go directly to them, they don't go like this, they communicate their grievances, their suggestions to the middle level management, right? First they give it to the middle level, and from the middle level it reaches to the top level management. This way the communication takes place, and we call it a scalar chain, principle of scalar chain. Well, one situation arises, students. Suppose some emergency arises, all right? Some emergency is there, and in that situation they can't afford to waste the time. And this lower level management, they have to communicate to the top level directly, or right, there is a thing, and this C, if, okay, let's take the different example. Here the lower level management, okay, wants to talk to somebody else in the different department. These are the departments. If he wants to talk to different department, so they have to go through the channel. But in case of emergency, directly they can contact each other. Suppose Mr. C wants to contact Mr. F. So in this situation, directly he can talk to this person. This is called gangplank. Otherwise, they have to go through a proper channel. Okay, they will go through a proper channel, but in case of emergency, they can contact to each other this way. All right. Now we have the next principle, that is remuneration of persons. Students, remuneration of person, that's very practical thing. If one is working, they get the remuneration. But this principle, which is given by Mr. Fayol, the principle suggests that fair remuneration must be given to the employees. It has been observed in the various organizations that they take more work from the employee, but they are not rewarded properly, they are not given proper remuneration. So that should not be given, that should not be done, that practice must be avoided, and ultimately the firm will be the sufferer if they do like this, because your employees won't be motivated, and because of lack of motivation they compromise with the quality and work. Fine. So remuneration of persons should be proper. Well, next principle which is given by Fayol, that is principle of order. Students, do you keep the things, do you keep the books, copies and your pen, pencil at the proper place? If you do that, that's very good habit. If you keep all the items at the right place when you go from the school to home, so a few students, they have very good habit, and most of the students, they have very haphazard habits kind of thing, throwing the shoes here and throwing the books bag, so and so. So it doesn't happen at your level only, this happens in the organizations also. In some organization, people, they have very bad habit to spread the things here and there. They don't keep the things at the right place, and that starts from the management. If your management is like that, so that will be followed everywhere. If your management is quite particular about these things, so the things will be at the right place. So here, this principle of order which is given by Mr. Fayol, this principle teaches us that everything should be at the right place. If that is the machinery, tools, that should be at the right place. Some equipments are there, they must be at the right place. even some people, I mean the different people have the different departments, different work they has been assigned, so they should be available at their place. Principle suggests that whenever you are on the job, you are doing some work, so you must complete your work, complete your job and then come back on your place. You must be allotted, I mean you should be allotted some particular place to sit. That saves the time and energy of everyone in the organization. If, for example, somebody is looking for Mr. Ram, okay, and Mr. Ram, after completing his work, he is not on the seat and there is a big organization, he is just roaming here and there. So it takes more than 1 hour to search him, where is he? But if after completing the work, Mr. Ram is available on his seat, so that's easy for everyone to search him, where is he, alright. So in the same way, we are looking something, you must have seen in your case also, your pen, you kept it somewhere and you are looking everywhere, you are asking your mom, where is my pen, right? But that was next to you only. So if you have a proper place to keep the things, that's quite helpful, that saves the time and energy of organization and of course of a person also. Well, next we have, students, that's principle of equity. Here it is telling principle of equity means equality means we must treat everyone equally, okay. The behavior, the partial behavior should not be there, the biasness should not be there, okay. So we can't say that the salary will be equal. If we talk about the manager, okay, and a foreman, so definitely there will be a difference between their salary, right? Some technicians are there and the workers are there, of course there will be difference between their salary. But here the principle of equity tells, it's not telling about the equal salary. At the different posts the salary will be different, but at the same level the salary can be similar, quite, I mean near to the similar. And another important thing, equality means the equal behavior, alright. You must treat everyone in the equal way. It should not be there to someone you are treating in the different way and to someone you are treating in the another way. So there should be equal behavior and no discrimination should be there on the basis of age, sex, their work and according to their capabilities, of course, capabilities, so we take care and according to the capabilities we assign the work. So the discrimination should not be there on such basis, alright. So this was your principle of equity. Now we have stability of tenure of personnel. Stability of tenure, this is very important, students, where your employees are not safe and secure. Mentally they have some tension regarding their job, they are not sure about the job, no stability is there. So they won't be able to give their 100% in the job because one portion of the mind is just always thinking about the stability. So it's telling that stability of tenure of personnel, they must provide the stability to the employees. If the employees are capable enough and they are working well, they are talented, they have the good methods of working on all the good qualities which you want, right? So they deserve to get the stability in the organization. So if the organization or management provides the stability to the workers, so they perform better, they give their best and the effects can be seen in the results, fine. Next is initiative. Students, initiative means shurwaat, right? Taking initiative of something. This principle tells that it's not that the management is initiating all the time. You must give chance to your subordinates, to the lower level also and to rest of the employees wherever they are working. So these employees must given chance to take initiative. So they feel motivated. When one is taking initiative, initiative means किसी चीज़ की पहल करना, शुरुआत करना. So one is feeling motivated and has a, and motivation is the great power, right? To give the right direction to the people. If one is motivated, they do the work in the right direction and they do better job. So we must provide this opportunity to the people, to the employees who are working with us, that they take initiative in one more or some other things, all right. Next and last principle which is given by Mr. Fayol, that is Esprit de corps, that means team spirit. That's very, very basic principle of this management. As we have discussed in the starting, management is what? Management is the thing like which gets the work done from others. What is management? Management gets the work through others, right? There is a whole organization, lot of people are working together. It's not the job of a single person who is doing everything, right? At the different level, in the different departments, you will find so many people. So all these people, there is a group of the people, and their work should be in the same direction, and only then you can get the good results. So it's telling that team spirit, they must develop the team spirit, and the interest of the organization must be on the priorities. The personal interest should be later on. So team spirit should be there between the people. They should have the feeling to work together, and if one is getting a little discomfort or a little problem, but the organization is going to be benefited because of that, and the whole team is going to be benefited from this, so one must take care of that, right? One must avoid this discomfort and all. So your team spirit teaches that we all have to work together for the betterment of the organization and to achieve the organizational goal. All right, students, so here we have discussed about all the principles of the Fayol. Well, next, as I have told you, principle which is given by Mr. Fayol, that's very near to the people, to the working environment wherever they are working, and the principle which are given by Mr. Taylor, that these are called the scientific principles also, because Mr. Taylor has worked for a long time of the period in the factories itself, and he has seen the problems and the things very near. He has seen how to work, what problems are being faced by the workers or by the employees, and how to solve these problems. Okay, so he has given these principles which are based on his experience. Okay, so we have given the name Taylor's scientific principle of management. Well, the first principle which is given by Mr. Taylor, that is science, not rule of thumb. It's telling that we have discussed in the features and nature of the management in the previous chapter, that your management is a science, art, and a little portion of the profession is also there, but it is not an exact science. Management is not an exact science, because exact science tells if I throw something on the top, so that will come down because of gravitational force. But this is not an exact science. Here we are dealing with the human beings, and management is the dynamic, it changes with the different situations. If we have to face the different situations, so we have to change ourselves. So this is not 100% science. Okay, so the first principle is telling science, not rule of thumb. So management is a science, of course, because so many things are there. We experience the thing, then we apply it. Okay, cause and effect relationship is there. This is the cause, then effect comes of that. So here they suggest, Mr. Taylor suggests कि साइंस जो मैनेजमेंट है, इट इज़ अ साइंस बट नॉट रूल ऑफ थम. इट्स नॉट दैट कि यू हैव सेड सो दिस विल बी देयर. नो, first of all we have to do a lot of experiments before deciding something, right? Before regulating anything we must experience something. जो भी हमने principles दिए हैं, these all are after these principles, and these principles after a lot of experiments they have done. If we do that in this situation, the result comes like this, and it's not with one situation, one person. So many people, so many experiments are being done, and then they have finalized the things. Okay, so in this situation that outcome comes, and if the different situation is there, then the different outcome comes. All right, and in this particular situation they do many trials, and they found if the situation is same, they are getting the same results, and that way that becomes a principle. So they are telling that science, of course management is a science, but not rule of thumb. You can't decide the things on the basis of the past experiences. In the past this was happening, in the past the situation was different, and of course that is past. Past means gaya. Present, we are having the different situations, and if something we are deciding for the future, so we never know about the future what's going to be happen. Okay, so we have to keep certain things in the mind. It's not that ki this has happened in the past, so that is going to happen in the present also, and we are watching the situation at present. You know, students, we are facing this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Nobody has expected these kind of thing ever in the life. Okay, so next one is your harmony note discard, that is between workers and management. Students, harmony note discard, you must have seen in the Hindi movies also. Always you will find there is a conflict between the management and the workers. Management have a tendency to think that these workers, the people, the employees, they are quite sluggish, they are wasting their time, they are not fulfilling their job right in time, and you know, means that way they are wasting the resources also of the organization. So that feeling management has always from the very beginning. Okay. On the other hand, if we look, these workers, they have made a feeling regarding the management, and they always think this management mints money like anything, it's earning like anything, and it doesn't want to give the bonus to the employees, right? And it doesn't want to give the proper increment, it doesn't want to give the proper salary, so and so. Means both the sides have the different perspective regarding each other, right? Prejudice is there regarding each other, which is not right, and this is not in the favor of the organization, neither in the favor of the management nor in the favor of employees even. Fine. So they must think, they must understand, they must be agreed on this point that they are they have the mutual goal. If organization will be progressing, if there is a progress, okay, so management will be benefited, and if management has benefit, so employees will be benefit. If management has proper funds, so it will be giving salary, bonus and proper increment to the workers. Okay, and on the other hand, management should also understand if these employees, they are satisfied, they are happy, they are motivated, so they will be performing better in the organization. So they are not the rivals of each other as they are thinking. Of course, they are not the rivals, they are working for the same goal, they are working in the same direction, they have the same objectives to achieve. Alright. So this principle suggests that harmony, not discord between the workers and management. Well, next we are talking about the cooperation, not individualism. Cooperation, not individualism. It is just related to the previous one. Well, there should be cooperation between the management and the at working level, operational level employees. Okay, cooperation is required at all the level. In the previous video we have discussed in detail about the cooperation, and it should not be individualism. If you are individual, you find yourself individual, I'll be doing everything myself, I'm sufficient in myself, I have a lot of money, power, so and so, I'm very intelligent, talented. No, it is not going to happen in the organization. You have to be cooperative with other people. You need the cooperation of others. We have discussed it many times in the classroom and in the videos also, that the things are interrelated with each other. In any organization where more than 2 people are working, we have to be dependent for something on each others. Okay, so there must be cooperation between all the people who are working together, not individualism. All right. Students, next we have a development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. This is industrial development depends upon the work. All these points are interrelated, and the goal and the gist of this topic is if there is a progress in the organization, so the organization will be giving good to the management and to the laborers, workers and the subordinates also. Okay, so it's telling industrial development depends upon the work, right? Means how the industry grow. Industry grow when you have a good workforce, committed workforce is there, and the good quality product has been produced, manufactured by them, the delivery is right in time, everything. So the development of any organization or industry depends upon the work, what kind of work is done. So Mr. Taylor is suggesting, and later on he has given certain techniques also. We have a work study, motion study, fatigue study, all these things we do. Okay, all these are the scientific techniques we have followed. So we find out the proper measurement, how much time is taken by the employee to complete this work and all. So we must follow all these things, and this principle is suggesting development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. Okay, that depends upon the industrial development, and industrial development depends upon the work. Okay, so if the work is done, they are doing everything in the right direction, so industries will be developed, there will be progress, their objectives will be achieved, profit, maximization of the profit, okay, that goal will be achieved, and there will be betterment of the employees also. Right, students, so here we have discussed all the principles of Mr. Fayol and Taylor, and I just take in brief these we have, you can say these are the techniques, scientific techniques of the Taylor he has given. This is functional foremanship. They have divided the things in the part like planning department and production department, means the different departments he has made, and like taking care of the different departments. So that's better always when you make the different departments, the things can be looked after. Next we have, I'm taking in very short, next one is standardization and simplification of work. Here you, for simplifying the work, you decide the standards. Standards means where you find which quality do you want, okay. So you decide some standards, if you achieve those standards, that means this is fine, this is good, and if some variations are there, that means you could not achieve these standards, that means some deviations are there. So we find out the cause, ki why these deviations are there, why we could not achieve these standards. We find out and we try to remove these hurdles, so we simplify the work at last. ठीक है, standards decide करते हैं कि ये इस तरह से काम करना है, this should be the method and all that, so you simplify the work. Next we have, this is work study for maximum production and minimum cost should be there. Everyone wants that, ki more and more production and the lesser cost should be there. So we have to do the work study, and in the work study we have the fatigue study, method study, time study. Fatigue study means how much time interval is taken by the employee, you know. When continuously one is working, the person may get tired, all right. So we should provide a little break to the person. So how long the break should be provided and how long he is doing the work. So all these kind of studies we have done in that, okay. So that is fatigue study, and when we do many trials, then we reach at a conclusion and we decide this much time period must be provided for the break, and then we do the method study, which method is good of doing the work and where we get the maximum output, maximum results we get. And time study tells that how much time is taken by the employee to complete this task. They are assigned the task to the different people, they have assigned that, and everyone is performing the same task. So we observe ki how much time is taken by those people, so we can decide a standard time for the people. In general we can decide the time ki this work at an average the work can be completed within 10 minutes. So how much time is taken by the worker, so we can decide who is more efficient and who is average worker. All right students, so all these things are there, and motion studies also done. And the last one, they have taken differential piece wage system. Differential piece wage system tells according to the capability of a person, we provide the remuneration to these people. Who is able to complete the work within the frame time means the efficient workers, so we pay the more wages, I mean the more wage rate is provided. Suppose one completes the work right in time, so we pay him according to 10 rupees per item. And a person who doesn't complete within the frame time, that person will be getting at 8 rupees per piece, okay. So that way the average worker will try to improve his efficiency and will try to get 10 rupees per item. So that way this works, okay. Well students, here we have completed all these scientific techniques which are provided by the Fayol. So that's all in this chapter, and a little points, I mean a few more small topics are there which you can go through, and if you have any doubt you can discuss in your doubt class. Thank you.